ask me where I'm from, I say here. When they ask me where I'm going, I say here. When they ask me where I belong, I say here. When they ask what I'm dreaming of, I say
Andrew sets it down. Oh, Mac Andrew kick after the siren. To a chorus of boos.
We are here. I am here.
Drives a dagger into Essendon hearts.
In a place where dreams be.
The Gold Coast have an away win.
We are here. I am here.
I can promise you'll never forget.
We are.
The ones who'll break through. On the road that takes you.
We are here.
The funky music. I thought the old ray gun was going to pop out there and bust a few moves. Hey, Mac Andrews on the weekend was absolutely magnificent. And I reckon the rest of the competition, everyone watches each other's games and they see that. There's some advice I would think that should be taken on by all teams when they come up against him. Don't try and suck him in like that.
No.
I just think he's one of those boys who's going to look at it and go, hey, the more you give me, the better I'm going to be.
But that becomes evident when you see it, and that's exactly the
It
vision.
takes a while to find it out.
So he took this mark away, just a little bit of a hand in the back, was paid for it, ended up giving the 50 away here, and he was ropeable. He'd had a crack at his teammates a few times when he thought he'd done the work in front of the ball to be used, and then just before half-time we see this melee. Now, he was involved at the beginning, and then he was the one that flared it up. This was just before the ball ended up coming back. It's a couple of minutes to go in the game. Love this from Ben King. You know, we've lauded Ben King for his work rate, for his forward craft. That's leadership there. Just pushed him out of the way because in the end, Mac Andrew, who was absolutely invested and wound all the way up, was the guy that ended up getting on the end of it. So he's had a couple of bags of 3. That was a 4. Kicks the winning goal after the siren. That's great signs.
Yeah,
great signs. To be able to handle his emotion, came out after half-time and went bang, bang with 2 goals at the beginning of the third quarter. Just great signs.
So just mark it down in your book. You know, there's guys you could sledge back in the day you knew you could get to, and there's other blokes you just wouldn't talk to them. He's just one I'd just leave alone because I feel like he would have been happy for that melee to go for another 20 minutes.
Absolutely. He's got the old-school competitor in him. That's why he can play forward of the ball. You don't mind him there. Now, whether he's going to settle there or settle behind the ball or play in the ruck. But at the moment, you'd argue at the moment he's the best swingman in the competition at the ripe old age of about 20 years old.
Just so you're putting a value on players, right? Just you're going, OK, what's the most valuable commodity these days? Well, a guy that can play genuine ruck, who can also play genuine key forward and could go back and play key defender. Just about the biggest check.
Well, that's why they're talking about $1 million plus for his next contract.
Geez, don't worry about that.
And he looked like only one bloke was going to get close to that last ball, didn't it?
Yeah.
He just embraced that. So, it was great. And I think he's complimentary to Ben King. Like you said, Ben King showed really good leadership, but they're different personalities. So I'll be just interested to follow his progress and where he predominantly plays. But they're hard to find those key forwards.
Cadman, Ugle-Hagan, Darcy. Well, Dogs got 2 of them. But Andrew is right up there in that category, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he is.
So good.
Exciting.
What about the Bombers then? Are we exhausted everything we can say about Essendon?
Who are their
We talk about the
stars,
grind. We talk about a long grind, not short grind. And they had a good moment. They won a game against the odds and they come back out, did everything but win this game.
Who are their stars? I'm talking about the stars. Zach Merritt. Who else?
Probably it. Sam Durham might get there.
Ridley has missed a bit this year, but probably hasn't had a superstar year, has he? He was good when he was in, but he wasn't superstarish, and he has been in the past.
So you'll think they're bereft of that?
Yeah, I think they need to be able to build that part of it out, but also too, I think they need to work on their fundamentals. I think good experienced senior players should know what they're doing late in games. Now, you can talk about the 19 inside 50s and the 1 goal 9 and all that. This is a basic fundamental of the game. Like, is it a guarantee that Stringer's going to make it? No, that an extra person on the line, make a contest, keep the ball in. That happens twice in the last quarter. Stringer and Draper miss-season. Redmond, experienced. Should be on goal side, shouldn't you? Now, Flanders at the moment is Gold Coast's best midfielder. Look at Redmond's effort. Mate, it's like you're standing at the front of Sunday.
That's the game.
That's the game. That is the game. So now there was many of these. I'm not going to sit here and just show edits of all these things that happened through a game, but that was consistent throughout the game. Yeah. So you should have won it. Blame yourselves. Talk about the stats. You had plenty of opportunities, but you've only got senior players to blame, and that's why they're not going to play finals this year. They need to be much better in those circumstances.
It's a good point. We just should also acknowledge the first win away from home for the Gold Coast Suns. We're giving them a good old whacking throughout the course of the year, but it's taken most of the season. They've got there. Who knows? Who knows? I'll talk about another side that tends to come good towards the back end of the year when they can't make the 8, but I'll get to them in a moment. We don't normally go back to Friday night, but it's pretty significant when you've got a Sydney Swans team who've been on top under all sorts of pressure. Three-quarter time, it's in the balance. They give up the first goal and then find a way to win. And they did it. We've already celebrated Heaney. Warner's last quarter was the highest by any player in the fourth quarter this year. So the two of them got going, which is great. So fantastic. But there are other parts of it which were significant. We thought Parker, when doing the game Friday night. So Parker gets himself involved. Now, he's a bloke who's been out of the side for most of the year, obviously, and you look at it and you go, will he get back in and will he be there in finals? Well, this is sort of why he will be, because when it matters most, he was clean and he got a key clearance and he gives them that bit of depth, and he's a winner. That's the other thing I love about him, he's a winner.
He had the job on Jeremy Howe earlier in the game and did that really well also.
And he can do those roles. And the other one, I think they're battling. Amadi, McLean, McDonald isn't, it doesn't strike fear into the heart for me. So then that's why Hayward's job on the weekend was so important, right? So he comes a goal early in the third quarter, he's really important. But it's this next one which is significant. This is the mark and the goal that sets them on the next 4 in a row. So the kick from Blakey's elite. The mark against Moore and Maynard coming from the front is better. And he kicks the goal, and then they go and kick another 4, I think, after this. So I thought he was really significant. So, the big guns were important, and they're always going to be. But if they're going to get to where they need to go, those blokes have got to play.
Yeah, and Papley to come back in. So he's got to kick goals, Hayward's got to kick goals, and their midfielders has got to kick goals, which they did.
Well, their last 4 goals were Goulden, Warner, Heaney and Hayward. Now, Hayward's a bit the fourth banana in that. We don't know if he's got midfield scope in him, but his best football's been a part of their best football.
Maybe that's the spark they needed, because we come down to three-quarter time on Friday night, guys, and we were talking off air with it. Sydney's gone.
No, well,
they just didn't look like it.
That's if they're taking anything out tonight. You wouldn't be getting, and I'm sure Johnny Longmire's not getting carried away with that.
Nah,
there wasn't much about that to get excited about.
But that can spark. That can spark
I hope so.
into a season.
They play Essendon Friday night.
Huge game.
At Marvel, and last chance for Essendon. That's going to be a hell of a match.